Ashes of the Silent War. They called it the Silent War, not because there was no sound, but because the galaxy fell so quickly, no one had time to scream. By the time the Galactic Concord realized the threat, the Krafthari hive fleets had devoured 78 systems, consumed 212 billion lives, and turned every known form of defense into ash. No negotiations, no demands, just a single message broadcast in every language. Silence the noise. Insectoid, fast-breeding, and utterly emotionless, the Krafthari believed sentient thought itself was a disease, one to be purged from existence. Against them, the proudest civilizations fell like dry grass to fire. And then they reached Sol. First contact, final line. The UNN Resolute was the last capital ship standing at the edge of humanity's frontier. With its escorts destroyed and Mars burning behind it, the ship stood alone, 1,200 crew against a fleet of 15,000. They didn't run. They couldn't. Not because orders said so, not because of protocol. Because behind them was Earth, and they remembered what it was to be human. Captain Nadine Kairos, veteran of the Europa rebellions and carrier of more scars than medals, stood in the command deck with tired eyes. Status: 50 minutes until the Krafthari reach Earth orbit. No other fleets inbound. The Resolute is all that stands. Then we'll show them what a human end looks like. She didn't give rousing speeches or poetic farewells. She just nodded. Her crew understood. The last stunned. The Krafthari swarm enveloped space like locusts. Drone ships, bioorganic missiles, and corrosive clouds blacked out stars. The Resolute responded not with panic, but fire. Every missile, every railgun, every last scrap of ordnance was hurled like vengeance incarnate. AI-driven targeting and manual overrides blended in perfect harmony. Humans didn't fight like the Krafthari. They fought dirty, they fought desperate, they fought with will. For 41 minutes, the Resolute turned the vanguard to slag. But numbers don't lie. Hull breaches turned the crew quarters into tombs. Plasma ripped through compartments, and still the engines roared. At minute 47, the Resolute rammed the Krafthari Dreadcore, a kilometer-long hive ship with spiked protrusions and a nervous system that stretched across the stars. The impact was catastrophic. Nuclear failsafes detonated midship. The Resolute vanished in white light and took the Dreadcore with it. Earth's skies lit with a fire not seen since the birth of black site research stations and bunker cities buried beneath crust and ocean. Project Revenant awakened. Humanity had never planned to survive. They had planned to become inevitable. Operation Ashes. A Krafthari fleet investigating the loss of their Dreadcore entered the Proxima sector and began consuming moons. 1 week later, the moons exploded. Inside them were humans, not the frail, flesh-bound forms the galaxy knew, but augmented revenants. Cybernetic, psionic, and encoded with memories of every war Earth had ever fought. They weren't there to hold the line. They were there to shatter it. One revenant designation Ash 12 Rook led the counter-salvo. He didn't need to speak, but when he did, it was broadcast in every Krafthari frequency. You wanted silence? Let me teach you the sound of wrath. Revenant rising. Across the stars, humanity's silence cracked like thunder. Outposts in dead systems blinked to life, revealing stealth fleets hidden for decades. Asteroids ignited, revealing fusion-forged dreadnoughts forged in secret. Entire moons rotated to reveal cannon arrays the size of continents. And behind them, the awakened fleet emerged from warp. Millions strong. No central command. Each crew knew only one thing. This is not about survival. This is about memory. The Krafthari tried to adapt. But you can't algorithm a soul. You can't predict madness woven into strategy, or soldiers who laugh as they charge death itself. You can't silence a species that made songs about war, stories about sacrifice, and poems about fire. The Battle of Burnt Heaven. Over the shattered remains of the Denari system, the Krafthari launched their grand strike. They came with their gods, planet-sized hive cores wrapped in neutronium, seeding psionic decay. The humans met them with the Leviathan, a ship constructed from the remnants of every world they lost. Ashes in the hull. Names on the core. Every Krafthari strike that had fallen on Earth. Reversed, studied, and built into the Leviathan's skin. The battle lasted 6 days. No side asked for surrender. No side expected it. But on the 7th, the Leviathan opened its heart. A quantum singularity pulsed at its center. Not to destroy but to convert. Every Krafthari signal, every neural frequency, was inverted and broadcast back. Not as noise. As music. Symphonies of defiance. Operas of resistance. Jazz solos of rebellion. The Krafthari couldn't comprehend it. And for the first time in their species' history, they hesitated. That was enough. The revenants struck. The Leviathan burned. The galaxy screamed. Aftermath, the living memory. The Krafthari didn't vanish. They were rewritten. Where once they consumed, now they remembered. Every hive ship carried the music of the war. Every system they rebuilt bore the names of those they tried to erase. And the galaxy learned a final lesson. You can kill a body. You can silence a voice. But you can never erase a species that teaches its children to dance on ashes. Humanity was no longer a race. They were a legend. A myth whispered by stars. A warning etched into time. And somewhere, in the dark edges of a quiet universe, the final transmission from Earth played on loop. We are humanity. We are noise. And we are very, very hard to kill.